All right. I think we're live, guys.
All right.
I see the live box up in there in the corner, so we're official.
Guys. All right. So I don't know if we have anybody in here, so you want to just wait and see if we get some people. I don't know if there's anybody in the chat right now, so let's see.
I'll have to know.
Yeah, Chris, do you have it like your YouTube channel put up too that you can see both? Or
yeah, I just did it on. I have a.
Because people might submit questions that way, I guess. Yeah.
SoCal Watches is in the.
Miguel.
What's going on?
All right.
So I guess, Chris, you'll be the only one who can see the stuff if it comes up, right?
I don't know. You can go into the actual live stream on my channel, and you'll see the questions there. So it'd be good if you guys could do that too. So just in case I miss something.
Okay.
Oh,
I hope I don't mess.
I think we lost somebody.
I think we lost Matt. Matt, you there? We lost Matt. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining. We're just waiting for Matt to rejoin. He lost his. There we go. All right. So we're just waiting for a couple more people to join. Hopefully we get some more joiners. We cannot hear you, Matt. I don't think.
Hello.
Oh, all right. Now we can hear you. All right. So I'm just going to get into it, and we'll greet people as they get in. So we just wanted to put together something. We're four guys that obviously love watches. All four of us have channels on YouTube, and you can see our names on the screen for our YouTube channels. But we're just going to go through everybody here, and we'll do a wrist check. We'll do some intros about our channels, just a little bit of what our channels are about. Since we're broadcasting this on WatchChris, which is my channel, I don't think we need to go through that, but I think you guys know what my channel is about, hopefully, since you're here. But otherwise, we'll start with whoever wants to go first. I don't care, and then we'll. The whole point of what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to create a little bit of a community, I guess, between the four of us, our audiences, and we're going to try and do this on a semi-regular basis. Maybe we could start doing some Q&A. Maybe we could do just any sort of watch topic that whatever guys want to talk about. We could just shoot the breeze for a few minutes on a Friday night. I don't think we should run too long. Maybe we should try and cap this off at a half hour, 45 minutes.
Sure.
And then as we get more familiar with each other and doing this, because obviously this is my first live stream. I think it's for a few of you guys also your first live streams. Maybe we can elongate these conversations, but hopefully we're not too long-winded. And if I am getting too long-winded, please tell me. So so whoever wants to just do a wrist check and tell us a little about your channel.
I can start us off if you want. I'm wearing my very popular Casio World Time. Probably
Nice.
my most least expensive watch, $20 or so, but I just put it on today and wore it most of the day. Actually, I got this for free from another YouTube channel I won a giveaway. This is from the channel Celine Driver. If you guys don't know him, check him out. But
I do. He was actually one of the reasons why I bought my first Zelos watch.
Oh yeah, he's big into Zelos. Yeah,
Nice watches.
Zelos.
Very nice watches.
yeah. But my name's Josh. I have the channel J City Reviews for about a year now, and enjoying just looking at a bunch of watches and having fun reviewing them and talking about them. And haven't been into watches too long, probably about 5-6 years. So I'm still a newbie and have a lot to learn and learning stuff all the time. So
cool. Joe or Matt?
Well, I'm Average Joe. I've been actually I'm going to show you guys the I'm sorry, the Acuras. Why am I saying Alpinist? I think it's because that's what I was looking at before I got on here. Because you, Chris, actually did a great review on that pilot's watch.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yes,
Beautiful watch. Yeah,
with that Hunter case back, man.
Yeah, I've never seen a actual watch like besides a pocket watch with a Hunter case back. So that was very unique.
Alpina does it, and Frederic Constant, and a few others. I think Patek Philippe does one, but just a very few that do it. It's very cool.
Never seen that.
Yeah, that was very cool. So I actually got this watch from the YouTube channel Somewhere in Time. His name is Adrian Sales. He has a great YouTube channel, so definitely check him out. I love supporting the watch community as well. So, but yeah, I've been on YouTube now since 2018. But over just the past year, I've really been uploading consistently, and my catch line is we do more than just reviews. So I actually have a series called the Casio Chronicles. It's a series of basically it's a mini series of 5 episodes, and it's just all about destroying the $10 Casio. So if you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out. But I just like to try to put a little different twist on things. Instead of just doing reviews, I'll do unboxings. Maybe I'll change a battery. I'll do a top 10, and just try to really think outside the box and do stuff that's creative. So that's really what Average Joe Watch Reviews is about, really.
Awesome.
Right on. It's my turn, huh? So what's up, gents? My name's Matt. I run the Rock the Watch channel, and today I'm going to get in my Omega Seamaster.
Nice.
With the dial. That's my first interesting story about this. My first luxury watch I ever got, and wife bought it for me last Christmas, so it's coming up on a year that I've had it. I always had watches, but I always wore one more as a tool, so I didn't really know what I was getting into. Funny story about this one though. She paid, so I expressed interest in this watch. So she goes into she didn't let me know this because I would have stopped her. But she goes into the AD and she orders it and has to pay half. She pays full retail and then throws a warranty on top of that bad boy.
Wow.
I found out that she paid full amount for this one. It was $6,000 for this. And at the time you could get them for about 41 to 38 on the break. So I was like, what did you do? But thank you. But what did you do? So, yeah, I'm a newer channel, only been around for about 10 months. Was inspired by all these guys and a bunch of other channels.
I think we lost audio on you.
We lost you.
We lost audio, Joe. Matt. No, we still can't hear you. So I will say something about Rock the Watch and his channel. If you check out his channel, you got to check out the intro to his channel because he just recently added this intro. It's hilarious. It's like based on Scarface, except with his face on it and on Al Pacino, and it's pretty hilarious. So definitely check out his channel. I see that SoCal, you just subbed to Rock the Watch. Very good. He's a great channel. He's a great guy. You'll definitely enjoy his channel. Sorry, so finish. Go ahead. I think we can hear you now, and we can't hear you now.
Can you do? What about sign language? Can you do that?
I can't. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Matt. No, we cannot hear you.
You're not muted or anything. I don't know.
I don't know.
Welcome to live. Oh, no.
That's strange.
Yeah.
I guess he needs new batteries in that or recharge. You have one with cords?
Yeah, the cords always work better. Anyway, so I'll go really quickly. And I mean, obviously, I think hopefully you guys know my channel already, WatchChris, but wristwatch check. I am wearing today. I'm wearing my Vacheron overseas world timer. So I've been wearing this on and off. It's my favorite watch. It's my go-to watch. I wear it a lot. But In between, I wear a lot of MicroBrands because I really love MicroBrands. As you guys know, so today we were going to talk about a few different topics. We were going to try and go through some of the topics. I see that that Matt has disappeared now, so I don't know if he's having some technical difficulties. But we were going to talk about a watch that surprised us. So actually, Matt came up with this idea. It's basically there's a couple of different topics that we were going to talk about, but one of them is this. A watch that we got in our hands that we didn't think was going to be that great and ended up being pretty great. And since we tend to get a lot of watches through on the channel because we're either buying watches and or getting watches in review for loaner, like J City, you just recently got Ball watch in. And I'm a big fan of Ball watches. I think they're pretty awesome. But what's a watch that you recently got on the channel, that you recently reviewed, or you haven't even reviewed yet, that you were pleasantly surprised by, that maybe you didn't think was that great prior to getting it in, or prior to getting it on hand?
Well, I'll go first since Josh looks like he's thinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's actually one that I haven't featured on the channel yet, but here's a little sneak peek. It's a watch from Gallant. Here we go. It's a reverse Panda. Take a look at that second hand.
Mm-hmm.
You would swear that this was a automatic movement. That's maybe not a high beat movement, but this is actually a Seiko quartz.
Oh, it's a Mecha Quartz?
It's a mega quartz, and this watch could be had for $35.
Whoa.
I mean, I would think just the movement alone would be worth that.
Who the hell put together a watch for $35 that's incredible, on a bracelet?
Exactly. I mean, the mesh bracelet's worth at least $10-15.
Yeah.
So this would definitely be it right here. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed, and I actually just unboxed it just about an hour ago. So great timing on that question.
Yeah, for me, I guess I don't know. There's a lot of channels out there that do like mainly homage watches from AliExpress, China, and stuff. That's great. Just recently, I wanted to try my hand at that, and so I bought a couple from AliExpress. One came in first, and then another one just came in. But I did a review on the Rolex Explorer homage from a Chinese company called Bliger. And I was pleasantly surprised, $70, sapphire crystal, automatic Miyota movement, and, no quality control issues as far as I could tell. Average Joe and I have talked about this topic, homages and replicas and fakes. I'm personally not big into homage watches. I don't think I would ever wear one, but I know they're popular online. And I was a little bit surprised at, the quality for, the price, honestly. So I'm getting some echo of myself. Do you guys hear that?
No.
Okay, good. As long as
sounds good.
Me, okay.
Yeah.
Still out.
No, we can hear you now.
Hear you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So I'll go, and then I guess, Matt, we'll just go back to you. You can do the intro, and then you can tell us about a watch that surprised you, that we're going through that. So we just saw Average Joe and Josh. So I'm just going to go very quickly. I'm going to mention two watches, and one of them was actually a watch that I reached out to Mark from Long Island Watches, and I had heard a lot about Islander watches, but I never, and we're talking about homages, but I never actually held one of their watches in my hands. And I reached out to them and asked them to, borrow a watch to actually, look at. And Mark was really cool. He sent it over. We actually live like 20 minutes away from each other. And I was really pleasantly surprised by that watch. I thought it was really well made, and it was something that was just it was a well-made watch. It felt like a well-made watch. It felt like a watch that was worth or cost more than the $299 that they were asking for. And then Matt Stingray, Rock the Watch, actually sent me his to feature on the channel as well, and I was really surprised. Like, just both of them were really, really high quality. I actually like Matt. I like your version better. Was the SKX sort of, and what they did was they made a Seiko, which we were as one of the topics we're going to talk about. You know, all the quality control issues, all those little things that people complain about, the push pins, the press clasp, and all that. They address all of it in a watch that costs less than the Seiko does, and that's kind of crazy. And you know, and then another one is that Matthew and Sons watch that I just recently reviewed on the channel. And I got to be honest, when I got it in, I looked at it and I was just like, yeah, there it is. I wasn't too enamored by it, you know. And then I started wearing it a little bit. I sized it to my wrist, and I gotta say, it's a pretty damn cool watch. I really like it. It's sort of like a Seiko bottle cap looking type watch, and it's just, and you got the purple, which is just, yeah, it's a fun watch. And it looks really good on a strap as well. And but the bracelet that they give you is really nice. And that one's like, I think it's like what, $300 bucks, $340.
Yeah, about 340.
Yeah, it's a Seiko NH35.
Yeah.
You know, really nice bracelet, comes with an extra strap. Just a really good, nice dive watch that I was really pleasantly surprised by it. And I did not, my expectations were not that high. And then I got it and I was like pretty much blown away. I was like, much better than I thought.
I concur. Big time. Yeah, very good watch.
Yeah. So Matt, go ahead.
What are we doing? The ones that disappointed us, or?
Well, we're doing so you can finish the intro to your channel. You didn't. I guess you didn't finish that, and then you could, because your audio went out, and then you could talk about a watch that you got in that you were pleasantly surprised by it, that you had low expectations for, and then you ended up having, or vice versa. You could tell us one that you were not.
Well, I'm trying to remember where I was at. Well, let me start. I was Matt from Rock the Watch channel. And when you mentioned, Chris, when you mentioned my my intro, I said, I don't know if you guys heard it, I said I had to thank you and Joe for giving me the idea to do that. So I ran with that one. That's where that came from. But yeah, man, I started about 10 months ago in February, and I started because of your guys' channels and some of the really big channels like Just One More Watch, which Average Joe interviewed Jody. He seems like a really nice dude.
It really is.
Yeah, he seems like a really good dude. So that's kind of, you know, how I started this whole thing. I thought that might be fun. I'm gonna try this, and so here we are. But I will tell you the one watch that absolutely, to me, it's a little twist on that lived up to the hype for me was that the Zelos titanium, the Swordfish titanium 42 that I just got in and did a review of. Man, that thing! You talk about value for money. I don't know how they were able to do all that for $369. It's insane. That's a full titanium watch minus the clasp. I think clasp is stainless steel. Full titanium watch, lume bezel, lume. I mean, the lume is insane on that sucker. It's just, it looks gorgeous. It's a great watch, and it comes in that awesome box and a watch roll and all. You know, it's crazy. That's probably one of the watches that I did have high expectations for it because of all the reviews that a lot of channels did, but it met and exceeded my expectations on that one. And then one that I was super disappointed in was, you know, Josh mentioned about homage watches. I'm not that into them either, but I'll look at them, review them. Anything I can learn about watches, I'll do. And everybody was pulling up this Pagani design Daytona. And the one I got in, I got to do a review on one. The one I got in was the biggest piece of junk. It had so many issues. It had finishing issues, movement issues. The crystal was canted. It was tied. And it was, it's just, guys, it's insane. There was so much wiggle in it was junk. It was junk. And, you know, I got more hate for that. I'll tell you what, you talk about watch knobs. In my intro, I put a little thing like Scarface was going up the watch knobs and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't seem to get hate on the luxury side, even though like I like Tag Heuer to make a joke about that. It seems to come more from, boy, I did a video about a Star King and they ripped me apart. Some folks ripped me apart on that. They were so mad that I found issues with their $50 Star King and their $60 Pagani. They were just, I'm like, whoa, relax, dude. I'm just, reporting the facts here. That Star King, the movement, it would stutter inside in certain parts. Secondhand would. So I'd have to say the Pagani Daytona homage just was or a Boss Talk. My God, I don't know if you guys have had any
No
No, Vostok
experience.
has not.
No.
Boss Talk.
Russian watch. Yeah.
You and Average Joe want to review it? I'll send you mine.
Oh,
You guys can,
absolutely, man. I've actually wanted to see one. So,
I'll shoot out some watches to you guys so you can check them out. And
all right, I would love that, man.
you too, Chris, if you want that.
Yes, I do, absolutely. You were talking about Zelos and I have I had like a pretty early relationship with Zelos because when they came out with the version 1 of the Swordfish, I reached out and I just bought it. I just bought it and I watched a few channels, and not a lot of channels were doing content with Zelos, but Celine Driver was, because he was a huge fan. He was just starting to collect them. He had like 20 followers, and he was the first thing he was doing cars, and he talks a lot about football and whatever. But he talks about Zelos. So off of his recommendation, and I'm not faulting him for this at all, I bought the I think it was called, not the Swordfish, it was the Great White. And it was a 500 meter or 1,000 meter dive watch, and I did not like it. I thought it was finished pretty bad. The clasp was sharp on like every edge. The back of the watch was like sandpaper. This is probably 6 or 7 generations ago of Zelos, and I did, and it was one of the first reviews that I did, because when I got it, I was just like, what the hell is he talking about? This watch sucks. Like I just gotten an SBDC 061. It's one of my favorite watches. I still have it to this day. I've been collecting watches for 20 years, but I bought a Seiko SBDC 061. I thought it was an amazing watch, and I was looking for that again, an affordable diver that was on a bracelet, and I figured I'm going to buy this Zelos. So I bought it, and it was terrible. I made a video about it. Literally, people were like, "You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. It's the best watch ever made." I was just like, what are you talking about? This watch is not good. Like, I don't know. And I ended up just selling it on eBay. But eventually, Zelos really picked up their game, and now, like you were saying, that Swordfish, I just got the Swordfish 40, and I just reviewed the Mako version 3 and the Mako version 3 in stainless steel and in bronze, and I'm gonna buy one of them. I have to send them both back, send one of them back, but I absolutely love that Mako version 3, especially on the bracelet. There's just like one little rough patch on the bracelet for finishing, but other than that, that watch is like, it's on point, and it's got like the same clasp as a Christopher Ward, which is, I mean, not that Christopher Wards are that much more expensive, but it's a pretty nice watch. But
Chris, is that the one you did the review of where the clasp was so small you couldn't get it over your wrist?
no, that was another one. So that was another where I literally, short of death threats on that, because I said that the clasp, because Elshan is pretty responsive, and he'll Elshan's the owner of Zelos, and if you have an issue with your watch, if you send him an email, he'll send you a new clasp. He'll send you a new link. He'll send you a new bezel, or he'll swap out the watch. So he's very quick, and he's very responsive. But I sent him the issues that I had with the watch, and I said, I'm making this video, and I said, what about the clasp? And he goes, I don't have a solution for it yet, but we will. And I said, okay. And I said that in the video, but people did not care. Like They're like, oh, you just have gorilla hands. All right, well, I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now, so my hands were a lot fatter, and my wrist was too. So if I had that watch still, because I did not keep that watch, I sold that watch. I mean, they're not incredibly expensive watches. They're like $300-400. I think that watch was the Swordfish version 1, and I also saw Jody from Just More. Yeah, he loved the watch too, and he didn't mention the clasp issue, or I think he might have mentioned it, but I don't think he got as much hate as I did. But I didn't have any followers. I was just making videos, but
Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm just taking a look at the chat. So we have 19 people watching. So it's getting there. Hopefully more people join.
It's awesome.
So the next topic, we were going to talk about Seiko and why Seiko gets a pass on quality control issues. So I've gotten into heated debates, I won't say arguments, with people on my channel because I equally love MicroBrands and major brands and brands like Seiko, which are sort of competing in both regions, and Seiko itself, I think, have a lot of issues with quality control, and the reason why they get away with it is because they're an iconic brand. They make some pretty awesome watches. They don't charge they don't charge how do I put it? They charge a good amount of money for their watches for what you're getting usually, because you're getting things like push pins, press clasps, the terrible one of my favorite things to point out is the diver's extension on some of these watches are absolutely horrible. And alignment issues. Everybody complains about the alignment issues. I don't think I've owned a Seiko that did not have alignment issues. I think I owned one maybe, and it didn't have a chapter ring. That's why. So,
wow.
I think they get a pass because I think that the components are made very well. I think a lot of the time they are putting together watches on a budget maybe, and they're not like other watch brands go through the time to quality control. I don't think they do that. I think they don't see the benefit in putting money towards that, and they sort of let things pass through because a lot of the people who actually will buy the watches don't complain about it, 99%, because it's not going to be 99% of the people who are buying the watches, or maybe not 99%, maybe 75% are people going into a department store and buying the watch because they are technically a department store brand. And you don't have those issues with Grand Seiko, or as many of those issues with Grand Seiko, and you don't have those issues with their higher end lines like LX, and I had an Antana, which was like pre-Grand Seiko. You don't have those issues, so that's the reason why. So I think it's acceptable to them.
Yeah. I'll just say a few things. I agree with what you've said. I mean, I've only owned a few Seikos here and there. I think I have just one in my collection right now. But yeah, like even Matt was saying in the comments here, any company can have quality control issues. Even the highest priced watches out there, you might be able to nitpick and find something. So you have to understand that going in, I think. But I think pointing out Seiko, because they do have a problem, is something we need to do for sure. I had one Seiko Solar Tuna where the second hand didn't hit the markers at all. It was a $300 watch. You see that a lot too. And something that's even been mentioned in the comments by Mr. K, I think he said those press clasps, you mentioned it too, Chris. Like these, I think Seiko Sumos just came out with 3 different colorways, or is that a different model?
Yeah, Seiko Sumo.
The Frost.
The ice
the ice line. Yeah, beautiful watches. I love the Sumo design. I love the new colorways they came out with, but the bracelet is junk. It has that same press clasp that they put on almost all their watches. It's like, why can't they spend a little time on stuff like that? And like you said, Chris, you know, a little more time, quality control. I think it would do them a lot of good.
And those watches cost $950,
They're not cheap,
and you get a press clasp.
especially
And
for that price point, right?
yeah, and Mr. K, as he points out, hollow end links on things like the Presage, which are pretty expensive watches, and then he goes, Seiko misaligned bezels and chapter rings are not a QC issue; it's a characteristic.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like Harry Potter's scar. You know, it's cute.
Yeah, but that's one of the things, you know, when Chris, you know, we talked about this, is that's the standard. Everybody knows. If you say Seiko, nobody is surprised that you say the same bracelets. I got Seikos that I reviewed, and I still have them, all the way from like $80 on some of the solar, the SNE 361 that I did, all the way up to, you know, I bought the Samurai. I recently bought that one. That one's got a better bracelet, but you'll have. My wife got me a chronograph. I forget what the number is. The Jimmy Johnson one. It's got the same bracelet. I think it was about $300. Same bracelet as the $80 one. Same class. You know, same, the squishy bezel on the bezel. Same hard Lex crystal. I think a lot of people have been mentioning that Seiko seems like they're trying to move upstream. Like maybe they don't, like you said, Chris, they're not interested in fixing any of that stuff on the lower end watches. You got to really get up high, up there. Although there are examples where it still has, come on, sapphire crystal. You're getting sapphire crystal on $75 Pagani watches and San Martins and stuff like that. You can't give us on a, you know, $400-500 Seiko. You can't give sapphire crystal. It just
Right.
It blows my mind.
Well, I'll tell you
I know some people don't like the Samurai, but you get, like, I got a Samurai and I'm like, wow, this thing is great.
yeah.
There are issues with it, just like always, but I kind of like that watch.
Well, the Seiko that got me started was the Seiko Arctura Kinetic. That was a $650 watch 20 years ago.
Yes, me too. That was my first Seiko.
That watch is still in my collection. It still looks brand new. It's one of the best built watches in my collection. So I think I don't understand why this watch doesn't get a lot of love. I never hear about Arctura.
The kinetic movement is totally underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that it's like it's better than Mecha Quartz, but I mean they're expensive. That's why I think that's the reason why, because you're getting a quartz movement. They're expensive. They're you know, you have plenty of power reserve. You get months of power reserve with those things.
Absolutely.
They're insane. But you know, they're technically a quartz movement, and but they're expensive. They're not cheap.
They are.
Yeah.
But I mean, this one I have is built. I mean, there's no folded over links. No. The clasp is quality. You got a sapphire crystal. It is just a really well built watch. I think. I mean, I have quite a few Seikos. I have about maybe 6 of them now at this point. Maybe I'm the luckiest owner of Seikos because I haven't had any of these quality issues. But I will tell you that every time I buy a Seiko, I basically just throw away the bracelet because they are useless. I just lent one to Josh, and he's like, "Do you have the bracelet?" I'm like, "I gotta find it, man. I might have even thrown it out, you know." But yeah, the bracelets are just garbage on those watches. But I think they're saving money there. But then they're putting like the best lume that you can. Basically, Seiko has the standard of lume. I mean, every time you see a lume shot, you're comparing it to Seiko, which to me is probably the best value proposition when it comes to lume. But I have seen the quality issues that you guys are talking about. But fortunately for me, I have not run into that personally.
Yeah. Lume Bright is awesome. I do lume comparisons, and I will say, like I said, I have the SBDC 061. There is a bezel misalignment. I did reach out to Seiko, and they said they would fix it for me. I never did it because I just didn't want to send the watch.
Send it out, yeah.
I didn't want to send it out, and it was stupid. I should have. Seiko customer service wise, in my opinion, in my experience, they are excellent. I bought a watch, and so if you do have issues with your watch, you can definitely contact them, and they will respond and they'll help you. Especially if your watch is under warranty, they'll fix the bezel alignment issues under warranty. It's going to cost you shipping there and back or something like that. But other than that, I mean, I bought a watch where I was missing a link. I bought a used Seiko on eBay. It came from Europe. It was, I mentioned it before, it was a Seiko Antana, it's called. It's a mechanical chronograph. Beautiful watch. It was huge, 45 millimeters. And I actually ended up selling that watch. I had it for like 6 or 7 years. I just recently sold it. But when I bought it, the person who owned it before me had a smaller wrist. And like I said, I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now, so I had like an 8.5-inch wrist.
Wow.
So I needed links. I called up Seiko. I went online. I went on eBay, of course. That's what everybody does. And I wanted to get a strap for it. And they were selling the alligator strap on eBay for like $350, and that came with a deployant clasp. And then the links were going for about $50. So I called up Seiko. They sent me 3 links for free, and they sold me the exact same strap that they had on eBay that they were selling for $350 for $125 with the clasp and everything.
Nice.
Direct from Seiko. So there's people out there who are, I guess, and because I could just prove that I had the watch, I gave them my serial number, and I wasn't even the original owner of this watch. They sent me free links because the watch was still in production. And they had straps which they were selling with clasps for $125, an alligator strap, real alligator. I mean, that's really good customer service.
Good customer service goes a long way.
Yeah, that was amazing. So then when I did get my SBDC 061, I said to myself, well, I'll contact them, see what they say. And they were like, yeah, send it back. We'll fix it. He goes, we'll have your watch for a month or 2, and you won't, you have to pay the shipping here and back. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm just going to keep it. I know it's a pain in the ass and it doesn't look great, but I kept it, and that was it. We're at around 10:22. So I guess we'll just go through one more topic and then wrap up the video. And then, like I said, maybe next Friday we can regroup and do this all over again. But let's go through one more topic. And I see there's a lot of people talking in the chat. One person also said that before we move on, Seiko moving up market. I've mentioned that a few times in my videos. I think that Seiko is trying to move up market, and they are constantly adding more and more to their watches, but they are definitely pushing the prices up further and further. So a Sumo, like Josh brought up, the Sumo. $950. That's a watch that was $650 about 7 or 8 years ago, and now it's $950, and it still has that press clasp, and it does have a sapphire crystal. I have a Blumo, which is the blue version of the Sumo, the SBDC 033, and mine has a Hardlex, and it has a press clasp, push pins, and of course a bezel alignment issue. But other than that, I love that watch too. So, but yeah,
It's one of the here. I think one of the goals I have, one of the things I try to do is to prevent people from making mistakes and spending their money wisely. If I can, if you kick in a couple extra $100 for that, you could get a Tag Heuer, which is kind of the entry level luxury watch. You kick it, save up a little bit more money, $200-300, get a Tag Heuer, there's plenty of watches out there for that type of stuff. I just hate to see people spend their money on, basically waste their money, like I said before, Costock and some of these Pagani designs. It's great to review them and see and I'm interested in if you can really get a quality watch for $65, I'm in. But it's been my experience that they're not. They like to use one of Jody's things. They spread it real thin because you don't have a lot of margin in those things.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Live TV.
So, I guess there's a couple questions here. So, someone asked, "What do you guys think about titanium squares from Casio for $1,600?" So, are you guys aware that
Yeah.
Casio have been pushing out some really high end, or what they are calling high end watches, like the titanium Casios that they've been coming out with?
Yeah, I like them. I like the looks of them. I don't think I'd ever buy one. I see him on Random Rob's channel. He likes those a lot. I've never actually owned a square. I'd love to. Um,
Oh, great.
I need to get one of the solar ones just to beat around. I love Casio, but yeah, that's a good question. 1.5, 1.6 grand for a Casio square. I don't know. Some people, they're all, they dive into that and they love it, but I'm a little
Geez,
hesitant on that one.
I think made the statement, and I'll stand by this. I think if you're not a watch geek or nerd like us, and you just want to watch in one watch collection, you don't want
Hmm.
to spend a lot of money, you get that G-Shock Square, that DW 5600. I think it was like hovering right around $50 when I bought it,
Yeah,
45
absolutely.
dollars. It's a great watch. It's a
Yeah.
great watch. Hell, World Timer. Those got 10-year battery lives.
Yeah,
They're like 20 right there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are great, man. But the
20 bucks.
G-Shock, it take a beating. It's fantastic watch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if no, I wouldn't. I'm not to say I don't know. I
There,
would not pay
there's a
that
lot of
much.
watches out there for $1,000, and Casio just wouldn't be one of them. I mean, for me, a Casio is a beater watch for under $100, and that's what it always will be to me. So take that as it may.
I think people really go down the rabbit hole with certain things. I mean, I could see it. I go down the rabbit hole with Seiko a lot. I go down the rabbit hole with other watches. I'm a maniac. I get obsessed with crap, and then I obsess on it, and then I want to get the best one, and then a lot of people mod their G Shocks to have metal bracelets, and then they put metal shrouds over them, and they do all this other crazy crap with them, and they're spending hundreds of dollars. So I guess Casio figures, what the hell? Let's just make some of these crazy expensive, and they're well-made watches. They're great watches. They'll last a lifetime. You know what I mean? Even though you're going to change batteries on them, and they're going to last 10 years, but they'll last your lifetime. But yeah, the new Rainbow G-Shock looks cool, under $300. I saw that I think was dropped today or yesterday. They're constantly coming out with stuff. They came out with they're doing crossovers with NASA. They're doing a bunch of different G-Shocks that are coming out. Hey, there's so many watches out there. I don't know if I would spend $1,600 on a Casio before I would spend money on something else. But if I were collecting Casios, I think I would probably be. It would turn my head. But
Well, if you guys watch the my little mini series on the Casio Chronicles, you'll see that all you need is $10 for a Casio, and you can light it on fire. You can throw it out a car window. You can run it over with a truck, and the thing will still run. So
I filled mine with oil.
there
I
you
made
go.
a video where I filled mine with silicone oil. I have a Casio G-Shock that I did it with, and I have the World Timer in silver, like yours, Josh. And both of them are ticking away, working perfectly fine. And I
Tough
just feel,
watches.
they're awesome. And the reasons why you do that is people, again, you look at the comments if you want to see some really great comments. People just literally come out and say, "You're an idiot for doing this. You're just an
Oh
idiot."
yeah, I got a lot of
I'm like,
thumbs down for that series because they're like, how can you got all this money just to waste, and they don't realize that I only spent $10 per watch.
yeah. Yeah, I get that. I did the killing the SKX series on mine a while ago, and people really gave me a lot on that because I did a bunch of tests with the SKX. That was when I first started the channel. But anyway, I guess the last topic of the night, and then we'll wrap things up. We were talking about before we got on the call, and it was the topic that I had brought up, the major brand versus micro brand. and that's something that obviously is very near and dear to my heart, to my channel, because I love micro brands, I love major brands, and I love everything in between. I love independent brands. I love everything, that has to do with watches, obviously. But, what's the benefits of buying a micro brand over a major brand, and then the benefits of vice versa? So, let's what do you guys think? And then obviously we'll get some comments. Hopefully, Christopher Ward is the new kid on the block.
I'll jump in just real quick. I don't have much to say on this topic. Average Joe and I just did a quick collab where we shared some micro brands and 3 specific watches that we're looking at possibly getting from 3 different brands. I think I mentioned
Ward was one of them, right?
Christopher Ward was one of them.
Both of us had that pick. Yeah.
And then another one for me was Zelos, and then another one was Nodus. But there's so many out there, I can't list them all. I know, Chris, you have a lot of experience with micro brands. I want to get into.
SoCal has I think he was in the room. I don't know if he's still there, but SoCal watches.
Yeah, he has a Nodus.
He has a Nodus. The same exact one that I have. I love
Retrospect 2 or something like that.
Retrospect 2 with the salmon dial.
Beautiful
awesome
watch.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's really. I think it's one of the top micro brands, in my opinion, for fit, finish, and quality. It's got an NH35, nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
But from my point of view and all the watches that I've handled, that's the one.
Yeah, so I think micro brands do a lot of good stuff. They seem like good quality for the money. A lot of them aren't cheap. I wouldn't say that. Like a lot of Zelos, and even the Nodus that I brought up in our video was $700. The Duality, that compressor style one, and it has a Miyota movement. So they're not necessarily cheap, but I do think you get a lot for the money. And I think we were talking about quality control. I think they focus in on that, and the pieces that they put out are top quality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you guys want to borrow the Nodus, I will send it through to you guys if you want.
Ooh,
cool.
I've definitely had my eye on that one. So
yeah, I have the like I said, I have the one that SoCal has. It's really nice.
Yeah, you pointed me in Chris pointed me in the Nodus direction. I went over to check them out to buy one, and they were all sold out. So that's kind of a good indication whether or not a watch is successful. A watch brand.
Yeah, I wonder how many they do. Chris, do you have any idea on like Nodus's numbers for their watches?
They actually do a pretty good amount of numbers. I believe that they are around 500 per colorway. So they're selling a good amount of watches, and they're selling them quickly. To give you an idea, I think Zelos is in the 100, like 200 to 100 per colorway.
Oh, okay.
So, but they come out with less colorways. So they did like only 3 colorways or 2 colorways with 2 different bezels. So maybe a total of 1,000 watches, maybe 250 for each bezel color, and then 250 for each dial color. So I think they only do like 1,000 per run. But Zelos do sell out quick, but they also they're very competitively priced, because the $269 is what I spent for the for the Swordfish 40, and that is essentially exactly what you get from the Nodus, and the Nodus cost me $450. So it's the same movement. It's a very similar bracelet. It's a very similar case. The size, everything. I prefer the Nodus over that watch, but they're very, very close, and the difference in price is probably not justified, but I justify it because I like the Nodus. I like the look of the Nodus more, I think, too, and the fit, finish, and quality of the bracelet is pretty incredible. But yeah,
I want to
good.
I want to add, I don't see any of the comments, so if anybody's written anything, I don't have a computer here. I'm just looking at you guys. So if
someone in the beginning said that you were very good looking.
Oh,
and then somebody else agreed. So that's that was one of the first comments that I saw. So congratulations. That's
my fiance must be watching. Thank you.
All right, good. I thought it was some guy who follows your channel. I don't know.
Well, Josh is right here. So
all right, yeah.
And he told me that prior too. So I think we just lost him. Oh, here we go.
He's back.
Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened.
I think he was typing away. So to me, like MicroBrand is kind of like the analogy of like college football. These guys have a lot to prove, and they want to become big players. So I think, as Josh stated, their fit and finish is definitely um, up to par because they really want to become a major player. Um, but they are. I think what you're doing here is you're cutting out the middleman because, like, with a lot of these major brands, you're paying a lot for their marketing costs. I mean, marketing isn't free. So these big brands that are putting it on, their advertisements on billboards, magazines, whatnot, you're paying that in their MSRP. Whereas with these micro brands, they're selling directly to you. So you're basically cutting out the middleman. You're not paying for advertising costs, and therefore you're getting more watch for the money because of that. So that's really my 2 cents on micro brands. And I've had a lot of experience over this past year, and I've really enjoyed the journey so far. So
Definitely, yeah.
yeah,
I think the major advantage over micro brands that major brands have are number one, the fact that many major brands have history. So
history.
if you care about that sort of thing, then they have the history. They have iconic watches.
Mhm.
You're going to spend a lot more money for those iconic watches. But there are brands like Seiko that have iconic watches, Citizen that have iconic watches, Hamilton.
Yeah.
We can go through Tissot, which is another one of my favorite brands. The C Star 1000 is these are all watches that are sort of priced in that general vicinity of $500 to $1,000, and a lot of micro brands sort of position themselves in that price range.
Yeah.
But what micro brands do is, and what they have to do is, they have to offer specs for that price. So you have to get 300 meters water resistance. They have to give you a ceramic bezel, sapphire crystal, the milled bracelet,
Milk clasp, yeah.
milled clasp, milled end links, drilled lugs. I mean,
Yeah.
you go through it, but I could be describing any one of the watches that we were just talking about. Nodus, the Matthew and Sons, all of these brands, Zelos, however people want to say it, they all offer these specs. So you're getting an automatic movement. It's going to be a Japanese movement. It's going to be a Sellita SW200 or whatever the hell they're going to offer. They're going to offer something. And people see that, and they see it at a discount compared to a Hamilton, which the Hamilton dive watches, the sub, I forget what the hell it's called now, but it's 100 meters water resistant. You get a sapphire crystal. It's a good looking watch. You have an aluminum bezel insert. They're not offering, and the starting price is $750 on a pretty crappy NATO strap. So that's the problem. So you're getting that, but
With horrible
that,
loom, by the way.
and horrible loom, horrible loom. The loom is never all major brands for some reason. You could be comparing, and I have a JLC Navy SEALs, my one of my other favorite. I have a lot of favorite watches, so I always say that. The loom sucks, and this is a Navy SEAL tested watch. The Navy SEALs tested this watch, and the loom absolutely sucks. Zelos $269 watch blows it away, hands down. But that's the thing.
Does the 40 Swordfish have the quick release on the bracelet?
No, it doesn't.
Too?
No.
See, the 42, the titanium one I just got, it does. It's got came with the extra strap, and it's got the quick release pins. That's awesome too.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think honestly, if you're just in the market for a really good timepiece, go with a micro brand. Your money, you'll get more for your money with a micro brand, because like you stated, they can offer. Typically, they do them in smaller batches. They can cater a lot more, like you said. Elshin is his name from
Elshan, yeah.
Elshin. He listens to his customers. Do you think Citizen, or obviously Seiko doesn't care what the customers say? Those massive brands, but there is, I go both. I like the high-end luxury stuff. I like Swiss stuff. I like major brands, and then I also like the micro brands. But until you get, like, I know Joe, I've seen his video. He's got the Planet Ocean, right? until you get a watch like your Vacheron or one of those,
There it is.
until you get something like that in your hand, you can definitely see the difference on these micro brands. You can see where your money's going. And a lot of times when people are watching videos or they look at a magazine or YouTube or the internet, they go, why would I pay $3, $4, $5,000 for Omega Seamaster or Breitling or whatever when I can get this Zelos? Fine. If you want to just tell time, NH35 is a great movement for what it is. It's a workhorse movement, and they're great watches. But when you put the two together, you can see where your money goes. Something like a Vacheron or something higher tier.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of camps out there. A lot of people, when people ask for advice on a watch, and 99% of the time when people ask me for advice on a watch, I'll say, hey, there's this great brand. It's called Zelos or this Zelos, or I'll say there's a great brand. It's called Nodus. There's this great brand. It's called this. It's called that. And then they'll look at me sideways and be like, well, I don't, I've never heard of that. And I'll say, well, it's got all the specs, this, that, and the other thing. It's a really well-made watch. The finishing is excellent. It may not be on par with, an Omega, or it may not be on par even with that Hamilton that I was talking about before. But 99% of the time, they don't listen to me and they go out and they buy something that is not. They want something that is more recognizable. I think
movement, Invicta. That's another.
Let's get into those brands. We can talk about that in another live stream. That's another half hour.
I had to, man. I had to.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like that's a big draw for people beyond the micro brand, is the fact that you can say, I'm wearing a Hamilton, I'm wearing a Tissot, I'm wearing a Certina, I'm wearing something that, maybe not Certina in the United States, but, all these other brands that are, Longines, which is, they make awesome watches. They're more expensive. But, someone, you could buy a watch that is almost on par with the watches I just mentioned through a micro brand, but people are going to go for the brand that's a major brand. I do the same thing, so I'm not saying I'm any better, because I have, I'm wearing a Vacheron. I own Omegas. I own, I
they're
love
recognizable
watches.
and they have history, like you said. So yeah, that's part of it, I think.
That's it. Yeah. So.
That's what Chris said. I think you're 100% right when you said the majority of people, and I was this way until a few years back. The first thing you do is a watch will catch your eye. You don't know anything about movement, brand. I tried to explain to my wife one time. She has some watches. I'm like, that's a fashion watch. And she's like, what? I'm like, babe, you're not getting it. It's junk. Like, they're junk. Let me buy something. But I like it. It's pretty. And I'm like, but I think the majority of people, I think you're right. It's probably 70-80% are in a Macy's or in somewhere, and they go, ooh, that's a nice watch. $200-$300. They buy it, and we look at it and we go, whoa, don't buy that. So,
yeah, man. Someone says Michael he's talking about Formex. Formex makes some awesome watches as well. They're another micro brand. Well, they're not really a micro brand. I don't know if they're a micro brand. They make
the case, like.
No, they make yes. The case that actually has a shock absorbent. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then their actual clasps on their straps have micro adjust, which is awesome. I mean, Mont Blanc offer things like that, and a lot of the Richemont brands are doing that as well. But those are pretty awesome. So yeah. So anyway, we're just coming up on an hour. I think we should probably wrap this up. But thank you guys for joining. I'm really happy that you guys were able to join tonight. And like I said, today we're doing this on my channel. Maybe we should come up with a name of our group of four and give us a little logo, and we'll start making the rounds from channel to channel. So whoever wants to host this next Friday, if we could all do it next Friday, I have no plans. I have two kids. after 9 o'clock, I just watch TV. So I make videos or I watch TV. That's pretty much all I do.
There you go.
So, or if I'm not working, because I work during the day and then at night I make videos. So, yeah. So if you guys are want to do this again, let's do it again next Friday. And thank you everybody in the chat for joining. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining, and definitely check out these guys' channels. J City Reviews, Average Joe Watch Channel, Watch Reviews, and Rock the Watch. These are guys that I subscribe to and videos that I watch, and obviously I'm sure you guys will find them interesting. They're really great guys, and you can see from this video. So definitely check them out. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and thanks for joining us tonight.
See you, everybody.
All right.